Tonight on Connecticut's news station, education cuts on the ballot.
Considering the current economic situation, it felt fair.
How voters in one town decided on a budget with nearly $800,000 less for its schools.
And get ready to sweat. We've got some real summer temperatures on the way later this week coming up.
Also, wildfire smoke from up in the Canadian Maritimes all the way here in our state. Find out how long it could linger.
USA! USA!
And back at the Rent, the U.S. men's soccer team will be hosting a 4-time World Cup champion right here in Connecticut.
Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And we begin tonight with breaking news. Police in one community on alert, searching for a man who led them on a car chase and may be dangerous. Good evening, I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Ben Goldman. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Windsor Locks police say that the man escaped a halfway house before this chase. Fox 61's Gabby Molina is in the town tonight. She's about to speak with police, who will bring us more information. Gabby?
Yeah, Ben and Jen, this is all unfolding right now as we speak. So I'm joined right now by Sergeant Jeff Lamson with the Windsor Locks Police Department to give us a little bit more details about what exactly you're asking the community to look out for, because this man did lead you on a chase earlier. So who are we looking for?
Yes, we're looking for Bruce Michaud. Earlier tonight, officers saw him leave a location in Windsor Locks. They knew he was wanted. They tried stopping him. He engaged officers in pursuit. The pursuit went into Enfield after about a length of 15 minutes. Officers lost him in a neighborhood that they weren't familiar with. So now it's about getting his information out there, his picture, name, so that if he is seen by anyone in the community, they can call their local police department so we can apprehend him.
Absolutely. And do you know what kind of car he was driving when this happened? What should people be looking out for?
Yeah, so at the time he was driving a 2019 gray Subaru Impreza, Boston Hotel 27022, that was the plate.
And is this person considered armed and dangerous at this point? What was he wanted for? Why were you trying to apprehend him in the first place?
Okay, so he's wanted for escape. The original warrant was issued by state police. He didn't return from a halfway house. He had originally been arrested for possession of narcotics with intent to sell. He has a prior criminal possession of a firearm arrest. We have information from sources that he was seen with a gun as recent as April. So he is considered armed and dangerous, absolutely.
So if people see this man, they shouldn't approach him, rather reach out to you guys?
Call the police department wherever he's seen, yes.
All right, thank you so much, Sergeant. I appreciate it. We're going to continue to follow this and bring you any updates. And again, if you see the man photographed, you should call police. Live in Windsor Locks, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Fluid situation, Gabby. Keep us updated. Thank you. We are also following breaking news out of Berlin tonight, where a man is dead this evening after he was hit by a train. Police say it happened right on the tracks near Kensington Road and Surrey Lane. Officers found the man was walking south on the tracks and he was hit by a CT Rail Hartford Line train that was also moving southbound. The man died at the scene. He was 24 years old. Amtrak police are now helping out with the investigation. We'll bring you updates on these two breaking news stories as soon as we learn more about them.
Well, new at 10, after weeks of heated town hall meetings, East Hampton voters cast their ballots rejecting a proposed budget that would have slashed the school district's funding by nearly $800,000. Fox 61's Jake Garcia joins us live in East Hampton tonight with reaction from voters and what happens next. Jake.
Well, Jen, the voters here in East Hampton making their voices heard by not approving the town's budget proposal, which would have created a large funding cut for the Board of Education.
No. 2015.
In a vote of 904 to 2015, voters rejected the town's budget and said more funding needs to be added.
I am very excited as how the votes turned out. That was my hope. That's how I voted, because I, again, wanted to prove that we actually need to have well-funded budgets, both for the Board of Ed and for the town.
So now the proposed budget will go back to the Board of Finance to be reevaluated. East Hampton superintendent says he's hopeful that the Board of Finance will compromise so they will not have to cut staff.
So if I can get about $250,000 back, I can at least bring back the 3 classroom teachers, and that avoids canceled classes at the high school or larger class sizes at the elementary school. So I think it's a time for compromise at this point.
One parent who also serves on the Board of Education says the needed increase in funds comes from the increase in inflation.
The Board of Education in East Hampton did not add a single line item to their budget. They didn't ask for a single thing extra than they did the last year, which, by the way, was also a bare bones budget.
Voters hope this will send a message.
I hope that the town council hears this, the Board of Finance hears this, and reacts appropriately.
After weeks of tense back and forth over the budget, some say it's time to move forward.
I just think that the town of East Hampton needs to heal, and that healing comes through unity.
Now, it could take several more weeks for the Board of Finance to put together a new budget proposal. After that proposal is then made, it will then go to Town Council to be voted on. Live in East Hampton, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Jake, busy night. Thank you. Want to get to the weather watch here, and this beautiful summer forecast that we've had and the weather we've had is here to stay for a bit.
It's so interesting because it's been warm and beautiful during the day, but definitely when that sun goes down, it's been cooler. But that's going to change later this week, Rachel, right?
Going to get continuously warmer, not only during the days, but during the nights as well. And it will get downright hot as we head towards the end of the week, especially Thursday and Friday, with high temperatures up around 90 degrees. And we could even break a record during the day on Friday as well. But for now, like Jen was talking about, it's really comfortable during the evening. So you can really hit the reset button at night, open up the windows if you don't suffer from allergies, and let that fresh air in. 58 degrees, the current temperature in the Hartford area, mid to upper 50s at the Connecticut shoreline. And we'll see overnight lows dip into the low to mid 40s as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll see plenty of sunshine. The warm up will begin, but it's kind of a transition day before the real hot stuff arrives for Thursday and Friday. We'll see highs up around the 80-degree mark inland, and at the Connecticut shoreline, it'll be a bit cooler with highs in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. There might still occasionally be some haze in the sky tomorrow from wildfires originating this time in Nova Scotia, and you might even be able to smell it. We'll explain your full forecast and more on the heat coming your way coming up.
All right, Rachel, we will see you in a bit. Well, Manchester and West Hartford police are investigating a car theft spree, including an incident when several suspects pulled a semi-automatic rifle on a man. It happened yesterday afternoon in the parking lot of the Planet Fitness gym on Middle Turnpike in Manchester. The man who had the guns pulled on him was able to get away. Around the same time, a car was stolen from West Farms Mall and tracked near the shops at Buckland Hills.
It's not just here, it's the world. Things are different. Things are changing. There's a lot more angry people today, a lot more drugs and alcohol going on.
All of the cars involved were made by Kia and Hyundai. They were later found in Hartford. Anyone with information about the thieves should call Manchester police.
A teen is facing charges tonight accused of firing a gun inside the Trumbull Mall over Memorial Day weekend. Police responded to the mall, and officers say 2 teens were being escorted out of it when one of them dropped a handgun, which eventually went off. The bullet went into the ceiling. Nobody was injured. The 2 teens ran off, but police were able to catch up with one of them. They're still tracking down the other.
Well, tonight at the Capitol, families of victims are upset about a bill that's advancing in the House and how it would change the state's commutation policy. The bill would give the legislature more authority in appointing the chair of the Board of Pardons and Paroles. That group handles commutations in the state. Senate Republicans say the bill is a step backwards. House Democrats say the legislation is an improvement over the current situation.
Do we want to stand for reasonable steps and stand behind these victims and stand behind these victims' families, or do we want to stand behind the criminals that have been convicted of heinous crimes?
Literally, by the Senate Republicans trying to block this legislation, they're going back to the status quo ante that they complained about. They are putting politics over policy. We worked in a bipartisan fashion to pass good policy. They seem to want to play politics.
Senate Republicans also say they haven't heard if the bill will be brought up on the Senate floor before the legislative session ends next Wednesday.
Well, the strike continues tonight for hundreds of group home and day program caregivers demanding more funding and better wages here in Connecticut. Demonstrators gathered on the front lawn of the state capitol, marking 1 week since the start of their strike. Union leaders with SEIU 1199 are pushing Governor Ned Lamont and state lawmakers to finalize a budget deal before the deadline that includes better benefits for these caregivers. Governor Lamont says lawmakers hope to have a deal in the coming days.
As the battle over the state budget continues, Governor Lamont's office is announcing more money to upgrade Connecticut's senior centers. The governor and the Department of Aging and Disability Services says Connecticut is getting $10 million from the American Rescue Plan Act to upgrade and enhance senior centers across the state. Cities and towns can use that money to improve their facilities or advance programming at their centers to offer more for residents.
Our seniors have done so much for our community. Now, coming out of a pandemic and facing many challenges, it is up to us to assist them in dealing with the impacts of COVID and giving them the tools that they need to navigate our new society.
Cities and towns must come up with a plan to apply with the state for the funds. Applications will be accepted next June.
Well, new at 10 tonight. Even though Memorial Day was yesterday, the city of New Britain honored veterans and soldiers who died in combat during a parade this evening. Well, the city holds its parade on May 30th, which is the original Memorial Day date before it was moved to the last Monday of the month. This year's Grand Marshal was the New Britain Veterans Commissioner and his daughter, who each served more than a decade.